Hello everyone. Today we are going to study the topic free ion terms and their splitting in octahedral symmetry, and that means we are going to study about the Orgel diagrams. We very beautifully know that whenever we want to study the bonding in any complexes, from the very basic theory we start from the Lewis theory. But we know that the Lewis theory cannot explain us every fact, so that is why we have to go to some higher theories, that means modification of Lewis theory, and that can in the form of either valence bond theory or crystal field theory. You know that the valence bond theory can beautifully explain very many of the facts of compounds relating to their shape, their melting point, their boiling point, their magnetic properties, etc., but unfortunately the valence bond theory cannot give us any indication or any explanation about the color or the spectral properties, and that is why we have to go to the modification of valence bond theory, and that is none other than the crystal field theory. And from that crystal field theory we can beautifully explain why the copper complexes are blue, why the titanium complexes in +4 oxidation state are colorless, why vanadium shows a particular color, why nickel shows a green color, etc. And to understand the spectral properties, or you can say to understand the color of complexes, the Orgel diagram is at the basis which can very simply but it qualitatively explains the spectral properties of complexes. So, Orgel diagrams for D1 up to D9 configurations we can study, and these are named by the name of their creator, that means Leslie Orgel. So, these are actually correlation diagrams which show us the relative energies of electronic terms in transition metal complexes. So, before going to study the Orgel diagram, we must have thorough knowledge about what we mean by terms, symbols and energy of different type of terms. Let us explain these facts one by one. Now, we know that electrons are arranged in different orbitals. These orbitals can be either an s orbital or a p orbital or a d orbital or an f orbital. Now, all these orbitals are characterized by a definite magnetic quantum number as well as spin quantum number. Now, if we consider only the magnetic quantum number, then different type of arrangement occurs within the same kind of orbital. Let us explain this by another example. Suppose for d orbital we know that the magnetic quantum number has 5 values, -2 to +2. This magnetic quantum number means there will be 5 different orientation for the d orbital. So, if we have the 5 d orbitals and we draw them, then the different orientation we represent them as dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square y square and dz square. These orientations are according to the 3 axes x, y and z. Now, if I have only one electron, then I can put it in any of these orbitals having these orientations. So, I can put them as -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. These are 3 different orientation, and this single electron can occupy any of this place. So, suppose let me put it in this particular state. In the same way, if instead of putting it there, I put it in the second state, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. In this particular state, you see this electron is in +2 state, this electron is in +1 state. Do they say that both the states are identical? Let me give you another example with D2. So, these 2 electrons in these 5 houses with -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. Let us put them in two different houses. This will be one orientation. Now, if I put both the electron in the same house, now do you think that both the states will be similar? Definitely not. Here the two electrons are in two different houses, and here both the electrons you are forcing to stay in the same house. So definitely this must be a state of higher energy. This must be a state of higher energy because you are forcing the two electrons to pair up in a single cell, and this is a state when both are given two different cells, so they will be somewhat of lower energy. These two different states for the same electronic configuration, mind it, these are for two electrons in the d level. So two electrons in two different states give you different kind of energy, and these are termed as microstates. So if this represents you one electronic state, these two arrangement gives you two microstates. Now each microstate is different from the other. This is 1, this is 2. So both will be characterized by different terms as well as different energy. These can give you a term. That term will be dependent on the orientation of the electrons or the occupation of the electrons in different orbitals. Different energy means different states. Different states means different term symbol. Now how to calculate these term symbols? Now for 2d electrons, this means this is the electronic configuration. So this is the electronic configuration. So for this electronic configuration, we will be having many number of microstates, but we are taking only 3. Now see, the d electrons can occupy these two orbitals, or they can occupy these two orbitals, or they can occupy these two orbitals. Now you see, these are different orientations, and all these orbitals are degenerate. That means they are of equal energy, though their orientations are different, but all of them are of equal energy. So we cannot force any electron to occupy any position of our choice. They can occupy any of the position they wish. Now this and this are the 3 different microstates for the same electronic configuration, but these microstates will give you different type of terms. If I take the first one, now how to calculate the term? We have to calculate the total orbital quantum numbers contribution as well as total spin contribution. How to calculate that? These will give you the magnetic quantum number or the L number for the electron. So if I take this particular microstate for example, for these two electrons are having positive spin, so total spin will be 1. They are in two different orbitals with magnetic quantum number 1 and 2, so the total orbital contribution will be equal to 3, and the term symbol for this microstate is given by 2s plus 1, so 2 into 1 plus 1 L. Now when the L value is 0, we have the S term. When the L value is 1, we have the P term. When the L value is 2, we have the D term, and so on. Here the L value is 3. That suggests that for this microstate we must have a F term. So term will be F, total spin multiplicity will be 1. This will give you different type of 2s plus 1, so this will be 3. The term symbol for this particular state will be given by 3f. Now why we are calculating all these things? Because you see, suppose for D2, what particular ion we have this particular configuration? Suppose we have titanium with electronic configuration argon 3d2 4s2 4p0. Now in +2 oxidation state, this will give us configuration D2 4s0 4p0. So ultimately you will be having a configuration of this type, 2 electrons for D2, for these 2d electrons, and 4s empty, 4p empty. So immediately they can go for D2sp3 hybridization, and this will give you an octahedral complex. See, for octahedral complex for titanium with D2 configuration for titanium +2, in an octahedral field they will undergo a splitting to give you T2z as well as easy level, and these 2d electron will now occupy the lower energy orbital, and there can be immediate transition from this to this. Simply we can say the simple electronic configuration in an octahedral field undergoes splitting. So this is splitting. So what about the term symbol? What about the microstate? Will it undergo any splitting or not? This was explained beautifully by the Orgel diagram. So we were studying free ion terms and their splitting. Very simply if I say, I would say that each electronic configuration gives rise to different type of microstates because of the different type of arrangement of electron in their valence shell. Now each microstate gives rise to a definite term. Just like the d orbital split in an octahedral field, in the same way the terms arising from each microstate also split into different levels. How they will split and what will be the transitions arising out of that splitting is explained by the Orgel diagram. So Orgel diagram show only the symmetry states of highest spin multiplicity instead of all possible terms. There are other diagram also, just like Tanabe-Sugano diagram, but like the Tanabe-Sugano diagram, Orgel diagram is not at all quantitative. It is only qualitative description. So very beautifully, if I see the titanium complex, which I explained a while ago, that the titanium complex is blue in color. Now what does it suggest? If it is blue in color, that means it absorbs energy from the sun and excites its electron from lower to higher level, and when it comes back to the lower level, it emits energy, emits radiation, and that radiation allows us to see the compound in blue color. Now if I go to the simple crystal field theory, then we find that when 6 water molecules are associated with titanium, immediately its d orbitals will split into 2 levels. So lower will be the T2z, higher will be the EZ. In this complex, it is in +3 oxidation state. This means it has only one d electron, and that will be in the T2z level. So upon absorption of energy from the sun energy or solar energy, this electron from lower to higher can be excited. Spectral line shows us that there is excitation, absorption of energy at around 500 nanometer, and this is due to the transition of T2z and EZ. The same things we can explain beautifully with the help of an Orgel diagram. This is an explanation from crystal field theory, but the same explanation we can get from Orgel diagram. Now let us go to copper complex. We know that all copper complexes are blue, Here also we have only one electron left for D10 configuration. This is having D9 electronic configuration. You can see that the copper atom in an octahedral field also undergoes splitting with T2Z and EZ level, and in that case also there is excitation of electron. Now not an electron but a hole. There will be 6 electrons in the EZ, 4 electrons in the T2Z, making it will be D9. So in the lower level there will be 6 electron, in the upper level there will be 3 electron with a hole. So here in copper case it is a hole transition, but whatever be the case, depending on the electronic transition, just like we can explain in crystal field theory, the same thing we can explain by Orgel diagram also. The Orgel diagram is actually depend on the terms and their splitting in an octahedral field. So, to understand the electronic spectra of transition metal complexes, one needs to know the electronic state of the system. The following effect lead to splitting of the energy level of transition metal, that is none other than electron-electron repulsion, which is crystal field repulsion, spin-orbit interaction, spin-spin interaction, Zeeman effect, hyperfine and all this count to explain the spectral behavior of a complex. If we find the respective terms for a particular d electronic configuration, then we can sum up the whole experience in the form of a table. Suppose we have one d electron or one d hole. In the D9 there is a deficiency of single electron that can be described as a presence of a hole. So, D1 and D9, both this electronic configuration gives us a term 2D. Similarly, D2 and D8 gives us these particular terms. The blue colored terms explain us about the ground state terms. That means, for D2 electronic configuration, there can be so many microstates and so many terms, but out of these terms 3F is the ground state term. That means that is the term with the lowest energy. Similarly, for D3, D4 we have 4F as the ground state term, D4, D6, 5D as the ground state term, and that ground state term in an octahedral field undergo splitting. The splitting is an obvious phenomena, and if the atomic term is S, then it has been found that it undergoes no splitting. But for D, there will be two splitting, EZ and T2Z. If it is an F orbital, it undergoes three kind of splitting, A2, T1Z, T2Z. If it is Z, there will be 4 splitting. So, the Orgel diagram for D2 configuration with D1 electronic state, this will be lower will be T2Z, higher will be EZ. For D9, there will be reverse of the state, that means the EZ will come lower and the T2Z will go higher. For D4 electronic configuration with 5D as the ground state term, there will be EZ and T2Z splitting, and the reverse will be for D6, D4 and D6, the reverse will be the EZ will go higher and the T2Z will come lower. The 3p orbitals which are degenerate in the ground state undergo no splitting, but D2 with ground state term 3f undergoes splitting in 3 states. So, we can see there can be 2 type of transition from here to there and from here to there, giving you 2 spectral lines. For D8 we have the reverse of the situation what we had in D2. So in D8 with 3F is the ground state, we have this reverse Orgel diagram. Similarly, for titanium we see there will be one transition, excitation, de-excitation. For 3F D2 configuration, for example here vanadium has been shown, there will be two transition, one from this to this, one from this to this, and one will be in the higher energy range. Now these transition, if they fall in the visible range, we see color to a particular substance. The outside line shows that there will be excitation, but that will be in the UV range and we will not see any kind of color. So ultimately we can say that Orgel diagrams are at the basis to understand the color of a substance. We say all copper complexes are blue. Simply we can say that because copper with D9 electronic configuration in an octahedral field undergoes splitting. So in crystal field theory there will be T2Z at the lower level, EZ at the higher level, but the same D9 state of copper gives so many microstates and so many terms. Out of these terms, one will be the ground state term, and for D9 it is the 2D term. That term also in an octahedral field undergoes splitting with EZ at the lower level and T2Z at the higher level, and that will also give us one transition. Fortunately, that transition falls in the visible range and absorbs the blue light and emits the blue light, and that is why we see all the copper complexes blue. So Orgel diagram is a qualitative explanation to the color of transition metal complex, and till now it is widely used to explain the spectral transition and transition metal complexes. Now let us take a few examples where we will first find the terms and then we will see the respective Orgel diagrams, and then we will see what can be the possible transitions. So let us take the very simplest one, and that is the let us take the titanium complex. So titanium, as I said before, it is argon 3D2 4S2 4P0. This particular element can show different oxidation states because it is a transition element. So we can get either +2 or +3 state. Now you will find in +2 state there will be 2D electrons, and in +3 state there will be only 1D electron. The same element in two different oxidation state with two different D electron. Will they show similar color? Definitely not. Let us first take the +3 one. The +3 one with only one D electron can have different type of microstates. What are microstates? Microstates are different arrangement of electrons in different orientation. So only one D electron, let us first take it in the +2 state orbital. So the total orbital angular momentum can be calculated by the value of that electron in that particular orbital. Since this electron is in +2, so let us put it here. So this gives us 2. Now total spin quantum number, if I say the spin angular momentum for single electron, that will be +12, and this will give you a value half. Now spin multiplicity is calculated as 2s plus 1. So this is 2, s value is half plus 1, half. So ultimately you will have 2. The spin multiplicity value is 2. So 2s plus 1, this is equal to 2. L value is equal to 1. If you remember, sorry, L value is equal to 2. So, if L value is equal to 2, we know that when L value is equal to 0, that becomes a S term. When L value is equal to 1, that becomes a P term. When L is equal to 2, that becomes a D term. Here, L is equal to 2. So, we will be having a D term. And what will be the spin multiplicity? Spin multiplicity will be 2. What does it suggest? That this electronic configuration D1 with this electronic arrangement gives us a term given by 2D. This you mind, here it is small d, this represents the electronic configuration, here it is capital D which represents a term. Now, D1 configuration of titanium plus 3 with configuration this with 4s and 4p. This is 4p, 4s, 3d. This can very beautifully undergo D2sp3 hybridization. That means it is capable of forming an octahedral complex. So, since it is capable of forming an octahedral complex, any ligand can combine with it. Let us assume that there will be 6 water molecules which combine with titanium in plus 3 state to fulfill the 6 hybrid orbital that results because of D2sp3 hybridization. Now, in presence of these 6 ligand, in presence of these 6 equiligands, the d orbitals of titanium will undergo splitting. That we call the crystal field splitting. Now, how many electrons are there in the d orbital? Only 1. So, we can say the D1 electronic configuration of titanium plus 3 in the complex hexaequo titanium 3 positive will undergo splitting in an octahedral field. In an octahedral field. So, how we represent that? Simply the 6 degenerate d orbitals D1 will undergo splitting to give you higher energy EZ, lower energy T2Z, and this single electron will occupy the lower energy T2Z. Now, crystal field theory suggests us that there can be transition from lower T2Z to EZ. This shows that we should get one spectral line. This transition takes place in the visible range, and that is why we see this particular complex blue. Now, the point is that this is the crystal field theory explanation to the spectral line. What about the term symbol? This D1 gives us the term 2D. The electronic configuration undergoes splitting. What about the term? The Orgel diagram says that just like the D1 term splits, in the same way the 2D term will also split. How to represent it? We can represent it in this way. The term is 2D and it undergoes splitting. This will be T2Z, this will be EZ. Or in a better way, we can represent it as this is the term 2D. Here the energy of the terms is taken and this 2D will split into two level, T2Z, and this will be 2EZ. And this also suggests that there will be one transition. This is the beauty of the Orgel diagram, that very simply it shows how the terms split. How the terms split. So, for 2D we have this kind of splitting. Now, if instead of titanium in +2 state, let us take titanium in instead of taking it in +3 state, let us take titanium in +2 state. Immediately in +2 state, instead of 1d electron, now we will be having 2d electron. So, when there are 2d electrons, immediately the term will be different. Immediately the term will be different. So, for D2 configuration, let us first take both the electrons in two different orbitals. Immediately the total orbital angular momentum will be 2 plus 1. These are the values of magnetic quantum number of the two electron in this particular arrangement, and that gives the value 3. Total S value will come out to be half plus half. These are all positive, both are spin up or they are of same spin. So, this will give us value 1. So, what will be the spin multiplicity? 2s plus 1l. This is the term symbol, the general expression for term symbol. So, spin multiplicity will be 2 into this 1 plus 1. Now, value of L is equal to 3. I have shown before also that for 0, L value 0, it will be S. For L value 1, it will be P. For L value 2, it will be D. For L value 3, it will be a F term. So, for this particular configuration, now we will be having L is equal to 3, so this will be an F term, and immediately 2 plus 1 in D, this will be 3F. So, we see that when our configuration was D1, we had the term 2D. When our electronic configuration is D2, we have the term 3F. Now, D1 in a crystal field, octahedral field splits. Same is the case with D2. In an octahedral field, this will also split. Same is the case with F. This term in an octahedral field will also split. Now, a d orbital splits into two cells, but in case of an F term, it splits into 3 levels. What will be that? For F term, it has been found that the Orgel diagram for D2 will be given by 3F will be given by 3 T1 T2Z, 3 T1Z, 3 A2Z. This is the splitting in an octahedral field, and this is the energy of the term. Now, this is the ground state. How many transition? This is of lowest energy, so there can be one transition from this to this, and there will be a second transition from this to this. So, here this is for D2 electronic configuration, but of 3F term, and that is the ground state term. There will be so many arrangements, that is why there will be so many microstates. Out of this so many microstates, there will be so many terms, but only one will be of lowest energy, and that we will term as the ground state term. So, this suggests us that the same titanium atom, when it forms aqua complex in +2. When it forms aqua complex in +3, both are capable of splitting. This gives us the term 2D, this gives us the term 3F. In an octahedral field, all of them split. So, this is the splitting for 3F, this is for 2D, this is one transition or one spectral line for 2D, and this will be two transition or two spectral line for 3F or D2. Now, the d orbital can take maximum of 10 electrons from D1 to D10. So, if we see the different configurations, you see both D1 and D9 gives us the same term, D2 and D8 gives us these particular terms. These are on the basis of the energy of the terms. This will be the ground state and this will be the higher excited state. Now, you can see that for D2 and D8 we are having the same terms, even we are having the same ground state. Does that mean that both these will have the same Orgel diagram? No. D2 and D8, let us give it with an example. Suppose we have nickel. So, nickel is argon 3D8 4S2 4P0. Now, nickel in +2 state, you will find there will be 8D electrons, 4S0 4P0. So, the electronic configuration is D8. This D8 electronic configuration can give different type of microstates, because ultimately there will be 5D orbitals where you can arrange these 8D electrons. So, you are now having D8 electronic configuration. Let us give each of them one electron, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for 8 electron we must pair up, otherwise we cannot fill. So, suppose this is our arrangement with D8 electrons. Now, what will be the L value for this? Here we are having 2 electrons. So, there will be 2 plus 2. 2 electron with plus 2 sign. So, 2 plus 2. Here we are having 2 electrons with plus 1. So, 2 electrons with plus 1, 2 electrons in 0. So, 2 electrons in 0, 1 each in minus. So, 1 in minus, 1 in minus 2. What will be the value then? 2, 4, 5, 6. There will be plus 6 and this will be 2, 1, 3. So, this will be 3. This is the most comfortable arrangement for the 8D electron. You see the total L value comes out to be 3. Now, what is the total spin quantum number? You see that here the electrons are paired. Paired means one will be plus half, the other one will be minus half. So, plus half minus half will cancel out, plus half minus half will cancel out, plus half minus half will cancel out. Only these two electrons will have positive spin, I mean same spin. So, plus half, this will give us half plus half is equal to 1, or the spin multiplicity here also this will be 3. Now, L is equal to 3, spin multiplicity 3, this again gives us the term symbol 3F. If you remember, for D2 also we had the 3F term, and for this also we are having the same term. Will that give us the same Orgel diagram? No. For D2, we first encountered the 3F term. So, the Orgel diagram for 3F term arising from D2 will be taken as the basis, and the free energy term emerging from D8 configuration will be just the reverse of what we had in D2. This is shown beautifully in the diagram as follows. So, D2 and D8 both are having same D2 and D8 both are having same terms, both are having same ground state term, but when it is concerned to Orgel diagram, they are simply reversed. So, you see, this is the Orgel diagram for D2 configuration. The 3T1Z is at the lowest level, but in the D8 term, the T1Z at the highest level, simply a reverse of this. Immediately we can say that for D2 configuration, the transition is from T1Z to T2Z or T1Z to A2Z. Here the transition is from A2Z to T2Z, A2Z to T1Z. Immediately this suggests that both titanium plus 2 complex and nickel plus 2 complex, octahedral complex with the same ligand may be with water, but both of them will not give us the same color. Same is the case with all other configuration. Here you have titanium plus 3 with D1, you see we have the 2D term. Vanadium plus 3 with D2 with 3F term, chromium plus 3 with D3 with 4F as the ground state term. These are the Orgel diagrams. As I stated before, the lowest level will be considered as the most stable level and from that level only there will be transition to the higher level. Whenever it is in the visible range, we will see color to a particular substance, but whenever it is out of the visible range, we will see transition, but not in the visible range. It will be in the octahedral UV range, and that will be colorless. Now, why these diagrams are so important? It is because all the transition elements gives us spectacular colors, and that can be explained when we thoroughly study their electronic configurations. Not only electronic configuration will help us, it is the crystal field theory which first suggests us that this kind of transition can take place, and ultimately qualitatively, very simply diagrammatically we can understand that only with the help of the Orgel diagram. What we have to study specifically here is the splitting of the terms. The s orbital does not split, the p orbital does not split, the d orbital gives us 2 levels, f orbitals gives us 3 levels, and z orbital gives us 4 different levels. Out of these, for a particular configuration, one will be at the lowest level, and from that there will be transition. Now, one thing we have to remember all the time is that spin multiplicity is not perturbed by the ligand field. Whatever be the ligand field, be it tetrahedral, octahedral or anything higher than that, the multiplicity is not at all disturbed by the ligand field of the participating ligand in the complex formation. If the particular complex has a center of inversion, or you can say if the complex is a centrosymmetric one, then each of the term or splitted terms will be called a Gerard term. That means whenever there is a center of inversion in a particular complex, immediately all the terms which arise out of it will be called Zerat and they will be designated by a small z. The U term, Z or U term is not applicable for non-centrosymmetric complexes or the complexes where there is no center of symmetry. Such kind of terms will not be accepted. Ground state term can be taken from Tanabe-Sugano diagram and S and P term are not generally splitted by an octahedral crystal field. So, at the end what I want to say is that whenever we are given any problem regarding the transition metals and about their color, simply we have to go to the oxidation state of the metal. Whatever be the complex of transition metal, first we have to go to the oxidation state. Similarly, the oxidation state will immediately let us know the d electron configuration, and once we get the d electron configuration, we must find the different kind of microstates it has. Once we have the different microstates, that means the different kind of arrangement, next we have to go to find their different terms. There can be so many terms, but we have to take only those terms which are of lower energy. After finding a number of terms for a particular electronic configuration, we have to go to the ground state term. Out of so many terms, picking up the ground state term sometimes causes confusion, but there are simple rules for it. We have to take only that term as the ground state term which has the highest value of L, that means the orbital angular momentum. The capital L value, whatever term has the capital L value maximum, that will be taken as the ground state term. Similarly, the spleen multiplicity also plays an important role. Whatever term has the highest spleen multiplicity, that will be taken as the ground state term. So, if we notice, here you see this. For D2, there are terms like 3F, 3P, 1Z, 1D, 1S. The term which has the highest spin multiplicity will be of lowest energy. But here there are two terms with the same spin multiplicity 3. When such kind of situation arises, when two terms have the same spin multiplicity, then the one with the highest L value will be considered as the ground state. So, out of 3F and 3P, F has L value 3, P has L value 1. So, 3F will definitely be the ground state term. Similarly, here out of all this term, the spin multiplicity of D is maximum, it is 5. Now, what is the relationship between spin multiplicity and stability? We see that spin multiplicity is maximum only when all the electrons are unpaired. That means, when all the electrons are unpaired, no one cancels other one. So, each of them will be of same spin, may it be positive, may it be negative, but ultimately singly occupied orbitals or single electron in each state, in an uncombined state, in a non-paired state will give you the maximum stability, and that is represented by the spin multiplicity value. So, you see here there are so many terms with L value for Z is maximum, but that is not the ground state. We have the ground state 6S. Now, 6S is a state with highest spin multiplicity, though the S orbital has L value 0. So, how to proceed then? Find the d electron configuration, find the number of d electrons, arrange them in different orbital, find the microstate, then find the different terms. Out of this term, find the one which has the highest spin multiplicity. If there are 2 or more terms with similar spin, then find the L value. The one with highest L value will be the ground state term. And once we have the ground state term, if the ground state is S, it will remain as it is. If the ground state is P, it will remain as it is. If it is D, it will split into 2. If it is F, it will split into 3. If it is Z, it will split into 4. Out of these also, one will be the ground state term, and from that there will be transition to other level. So, this is the beauty of Orgel diagram, which beautifully explain us the spectral properties of transition elements, and by spectral property we simply mean how many transitions that can take place in a particular transition metal complex. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you.